think adults believe kids when they say they're getting bullied. Hopefully they do.
Well, bullying's had, I think, a profound impact on my life. I don't feel particularly intimidated by anyone anymore. But as soon as I turned 18, I went out and got my first tattoo because I knew, tough guys had tattoos. Tattoos hurt. It was a way of proving to myself that I could withstand a little bit of pain. Previous to that, I'd started smoking at 15, 16 years old. Again, because I associated it with being tough. I mean, if I couldn't fight, if I couldn't defend myself physically, I could at least try and act and look like I could. And smoking and getting tattooed and listening to aggressive music and starting to wear, a lot of black clothes and all the things that you see teenagers do, I did those things. And I think the reason I did them is to try and put up a front that I was tougher than I actually was.
If you hurt somebody, make them bleed, the cut will heal. But if you hurt them mentally, it won't heal. It will stick with the people.
For me, it's something that I lived through my whole childhood. And what it evokes for me is just the word fear. Fear, hopelessness, helplessness, mostly hopelessness, just feeling hopeless is what bullying means for me.
To be pushing somebody around or being rude, calling them names, and I just think it's horrible.
I think people bully other people because, like, something that happens at home, or they're not feeling good, or they're jealous of someone, so they want to make them feel bad.
Because they feel unconfident or unsure of themselves, low self-esteem, and by bullying somebody else, it shows that they have power over somebody.
Is it a rite of passage that they just have to learn to toughen up?
Some bullies don't like people that aren't like them because they think everybody should be like them. If someone's disabled or has a different challenge, then the bully thinks, well, that's not good, they should be like me, and then they make fun of them.
Some schools, that's definitely just because of your race or your, sexual orientation. That's probably where a lot of the bullying comes from.
I think that whatever school you go to, there might be someone who doesn't get enough attention, so they bully for attention to try and be cool.
They have this pain inside their heart that's saying all they can take it out on is other kids, that they don't know any other way.
If the bullies really want to get rid of their frustration, the best way that I would advise is to talk to somebody. Let it all out instead of letting it out on people.
When people get bullied, the feeling is sad and scared and angry. They don't feel good.
And they're afraid to talk to anyone because someone might hurt them for saying some things. They call them a tattletale or something, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, if someone's getting bullied or hurt, he really should talk to someone, you really should get it stopped, but once you're in that situation, you don't know what to say, you're speechless.
Yes, I guess it really did feel a lot like being on an island alone.
People get bullies feels like they never want to go to school again because the bully's there.
Bullying affects a child not only when it's happening, but around the clock.
When they're doing their work, they feel like they can't even write because they think there are bullies everywhere, so they go.
They're just waiting for the next time they're going to get bullied, waiting for, hoping to be ready for it, maybe to be able to stand up to that person, but it definitely encompasses their lives to a great deal.
For me, the fear would become unbearable, and finally, when they were confronting me, and then I knew that I'd end up with a beating, that it became a relief for me, because it meant that after this is over, in the next 5-10 minutes, I know that they're going to be done for a day or so, and I'm going to have a rest, and so it's almost like when. Well, so it was just such a relief. So I would almost welcome the beating at that point, just to have it over and done with.
I remember with my experience, I didn't want to tell anyone. I was so ashamed of it. You start thinking, well, yeah, there must be something wrong with me. I probably deserve it. This is something, I've done something to have this. When in actuality, it's not the case at all. It's just a bully is making himself feel big. It's all him. It's all their own insecurities, and they're just passing it along to you.
They're constantly being put down and constantly being picked at, and so what's left of them is not much.
I should have been concentrating on my schoolwork, but I spent a lot of time concentrating on how to stay out of everybody's way.
That can affect your self-esteem for years. It's terrible consequences.
A lot of people watch bullying and they don't do anything about it.
Kids don't want to stick up for other people because then they're going to be the center of attention. They don't want to get picked on either, right? So they will just stand back and watch it. And that's, I think, something we need to teach children, that it's okay to stand up for others.
If someone's being bullied, you definitely can do something rather than just standing there. Even if you didn't make a difference, at least you tried to make a difference, and that's what counts.
When my friend was being bullied, I had so much rage and sadness in my heart that I didn't really care what would happen to me from the bully, as long as I got my friend out of it.
I never approached a teacher to say I was being bullied. First and foremost, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed of it. It's a hard thing to admit that you can't defend yourself or you can't stand up for yourself. I think my teachers were probably aware that it was occurring, but at the same time, the kids who did the most bullying tended to be, at that age, the most popular kids in the class. And I think even teachers felt the need to have those kids on their side. It helped keep the classroom under control. If the popular kids liked the teacher, then the rest of the class would behave.
It's difficult for people to talk to their parents or teachers or principal because they might think that the bully's gonna fight them or make fun of them and call them something that they don't want to be called.
My one regret was that I didn't ask for help, because it could have ended so much faster.
He wouldn't talk about it initially, and then it happens day after day, and after a while you say to him, you must let me know what's going on. I want to know because your behavior has changed coming home. It's almost like you don't want to go to school. What is the problem?
My dad, he's one of my idols, and he was bullied as a kid. He went to a rougher school than I did, and just knowing that he went through it too, and he's as good as he can be. That was a real help. So I think maybe also having people that have experienced it come and talk to them, that is a big help.
I think that
teachers need to realize that this is probably one of the most important issues that they'll ever face in terms of teaching people. Like, teaching is not just math and science, it's also life skills, and they really need to think about that kids really need to learn.
You should give the children wings to help themselves, especially the shy ones, because they need some confidence in their self to get out of that problem. Well, if they don't have enough confidence to tell anyone, then they're going to be bullied over and over and over again. That's what I think.
In my opinion, early education on this during the young years is very vital. I think it needs to be ingrained in them that inclusion is important. You know, having, being respectful of other people, being kind, and having empathy is important. That needs to be taught very early.
I would say to the teachers to try as much as you can to help the other kids, but sometimes, sometimes kids have to fan it out by themselves. That's all.
When the program started at my school for intimidation, I have realized a huge difference. There is so much less bullying. It's so much nicer.
It definitely has helped a lot, because especially with how you can help people who are being bullied, because at least now you would know some way you could help them rather than just sitting there and watching.
And it really helps. It makes you feel more secure because you're in an intimidation-free environment. You're not afraid of stepping out that door and having someone criticize you. You're not afraid of speaking your mind. You're not afraid of anything. You're not afraid of what people will think of you. I find it's the best thing ever, because you're not afraid of people anymore. You're not afraid of what they'll think of you.
Gives joyness to my heart that somebody or some kind of program can try to help people, because I just don't like seeing people in pain at all.
Everybody has their right
to be safe,
strong,
and free.